Hi friends, and welcome back to Gardening Suburbia. My name is Amanda and we are in my garden again. It is a beautiful day. It started off kind of chilly and it has gradually warmed up quite a bit. So the other day I got all of my peppers planted. I got a majority of my tomatoes planted in this bed up here, and I still have quite a few tomatoes. I was waiting for people to come and pick tomatoes up just because I wanted them to have a good variety to choose from. But those who told me they were coming to get tomatoes got them, and I am certain of the ones that I am giving away, so I went ahead and marked those off and put them to the side. But I have still a ton of tomatoes to be planted, but not quite enough space. I keep telling myself not to plant them up in the front garden, but I think I'm gonna plant at least one or two in the front garden. I went ahead and put seeds in the front garden for my Jarradale sweetmeat pumpkin and my red warty thing pumpkin. Both of those varieties I got in my seed haul video I posted a couple months ago, and I'm super excited to have those guys grow. I decided to plant my pumpkins and squash up in the front garden just because I knew they were gonna sprawl a whole bunch. And typically what I do is I'll plant them like on the border so that they fall into my grassy area. But I decided to plant them up in the front garden because my dog doesn't really go up there much. And that way I'm not taking up so much of his space by planting them up there. Plus, how intriguing would it be to have someone drive by and be like, whoa, pumpkins. So I've got pumpkins potentially, fingers crossed that the squirrels don't kill them, up in the front garden. And then I am going to go ahead today and actually plant out the rest of my tomato plants. Before I get to that though, I want to do a quick update on my overwintered pepper plant. So if you guys have been with me for long, you know that I went ahead and overwintered a Tabasco pepper plant with the hopes that it would be far enough along that I potentially would get more red peppers when it came to harvest time. This guy started growing leaves a month or two ago. He has bushed out quite a bit. This is my pepper plant. He is in this white container still. I just went ahead and topped him with some fresh compost. He is a little bit sad, but that is because my dog knocked him over, and basically all of the dirt that filled the pot was on my carpet. So there's that, but he looks great. So ton of new foliage. I did kind of also leave him in the sun just a little too long, so he did get some yellowing leaves, but other than that he does look okay. Inside he was trying to put on flowers to produce fruit, but I pinched those off just because I didn't want him to quite do that just yet. But so far he looks okay. As problems come along, disease, if I need to up-pot them, I'll kind of do that as I need to. Here we have our main tomato bed. So this back row is going to get trellised on this cattle panel wall trellis. This is only an 8-foot panel. I have it about 1.5 feet or so off the ground. And most of those plants were topped. So I took so like this one hasn't been cut, but if I wanted to make this a 2-liter system, I could just chop it right below or above 2 sets of branches, and then it would put off really good strong branches through the armpits right there. So like this one, you can see where I chopped it right there, and then now it has this stem and this stem. So both of these guys will get trellised up to then be separate plants but on the same system. And I'll just go ahead and cut off suckers as I go, just because all of my tomatoes are indeterminate. That means that they'll continue to produce tomatoes throughout the season as long as pests and the weather allows. I went ahead and planted some marigolds to bring in some pollinators. Got one over there too, and then my random beans. I haven't decided what I'm doing with these guys. I'm pretty sure these are my black beans from last season that just went ahead and volunteered here. I don't usually get volunteers. This is the year of volunteers, and it'll continue to get more and more throughout the years, but I decided just to leave him for now. We'll see how that decision goes. I may take a few of these off. I don't know yet. And then in my second tomato bed, I have some nasturtium. These are pineapple ground cherries planted in this little square. And then I've got my tomatillos. This will be some good salsa, hopefully. These guys will probably get ginormous. I know my sister only had like 2 plants and hers took over. So I may have to thin that out a little bit once they actually get bushier. But this is the last place for tomato, well, last bed for tomatoes. So I've got like 5 squares here. So I might pick 5 tomatoes to put in here. And then I have these 3, I think these are like 7 or 10 gallon, 7? I don't really know. Something gallon buckets. They're bigger than 5 gallon. So I'm gonna put some tomatoes in those guys as well. This is echinacea, a random volunteer lettuce, and I believe this is chamomile. I don't know for sure. So I think I'm gonna get you guys set up, and I'm just gonna time lapse me planting some tomatoes in this raised fabric bed, just because I need to make some decisions and it might take me some time. So I found one of my rock tags in like the bottom of my bucket, buried in dirt. So I'm not sure how that got there, but I missed it. So I'm gonna find, I don't know if I've planted any summer squash. I might have. I feel like I did. I'm gonna have to wait until it comes up so I can put this down, but I'm gonna put it somewhere safe until then. So in this bed, I just went ahead and planted 1 tomato plant per pocket that was left. These 2 are my vintage wine. So I just went ahead and dug a really deep hole, deep as I could, with allowing at least 2 of the main stems of the tomato plant above soil. Anything that's touching the soil will grow roots. These little hairs are not roots. They're called trichomes. This is a defense mechanism for the tomato plant. Those are not roots, but once the plant comes into contact with soil, it'll grow roots. So we've got our vintage wine tomato plants, 2 Dr. Wychees or Dr. Witchy's yellow. So this guy and this guy. I have some yarrow, which I love yarrow. And then lastly on this one, we have the Cherokee Purple Pole, which I'm super excited for all of the different colors of tomatoes we have. And then over here, We have an artisan tiger blush. This is a cherry tomato plant. I realized I had 3 different kinds of artisan tiger cherry tomatoes, and I only planted my green variety over in my green tomato stock over there. So I have the blush one here, and I think there was a pink variety, which unfortunately does not have a home. And I don't think I have one that sprouted. I don't know what happened. So I have this guy in here with these random bits of plants. And then this is a mushroom basket. These tomatoes got away from me, so they got really wonky, which is why he's kind of laying right now. Once he gets a little bigger, I'll go ahead and take off the leaves. But this produces a really big fluted beefsteak tomato. This one is another one of the Cherokee Pole purple tomatoes. And then I have a giant crimson, which this is a pack that I got like 5 seeds out of. And it's like a variety that was brought back from basically no one having it. It was like a 100-year-old seed packet, and there was like 2 seeds. One survived, and so they got seeds off of that plant. So I think I planted pretty much all of these, or gifted. I think I gifted one to my friend May. And then that pretty much does it for the tomato plants. So these guys have cages, although after a certain point these cages will be doing absolutely nothing because these will just continue to grow. I'll probably pull one of the tomato cages that I have just as a barrier right now and put it on this guy. And then I'll need to actually move these guys that way into the yard because that's where all my sunlight is. I am actually going to be at the Homestead Festival in June with my friend May. I think that's in Tennessee. I'm super excited to meet and learn a whole bunch of new information, as well as meet some of the people that I admire here on YouTube. I think it's going to be a really awesome opportunity for growth and inspiration. I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to the gardening season. It is it's upon us. I am super excited to see everything that is growing in my garden, what it's gonna look like once it's actually gone wild. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll go ahead and pop one up here for you to enjoy until my next upload. But until then, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.